So here with our two special guests, Mark Divin and Stephen Mogg. And before we get them on the mic and having a bit of a yarn, let me tell you a bit about them. So Mark Divin, he's born in Footscray, and I'm going to talk to him about that as well because I'm born in Footscray. So you can't leave your wallet or any kind of valuables around with us because we'll be pretty spiffed with them. But predominantly, Mark Divin is an outdoor cricket player growing up in Melton, Victoria, before stints in Shepparton, Canberra, and finally Tasmania, where he played for the Tigers for several seasons, and his highlight was being part of the Ford Ranger Cup winning side, ironically, the Dirty Dog, against his old state of Victoria. And Mark is the full owner of the Cricket Hub in Tasmania. He's joined by fellow guest Stephen Mogg. He's been a Queensland Masters player for approximately 10 years and the occasional player for the Victorian Point Vipers National Indoor Cricket League side. However, I've been reliably informed that his body's falling to pieces and he just can't do it anymore, the old boy. So he's sticking to coaching more often than not these days. So Mark Divin, Stephen Mogg, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Gary, mate. I appreciate being here. That's for sure.
Thanks, Gary. Good to be here.
Beautiful, mate. Don't be nervous, mate. It's episode 1, baby. We're back. You know what I mean? We need to get cracking.
How good is it, though?
Mate, it's good stuff. And look, you're both here because obviously COVID-19 has had a significant impact, not just on indoor cricket as well, but across the wider indoor sports community. And you guys are a part of that. That's you know, you're leaders within that group. So it's really important that your message comes across because we need to know what we can do to support. And we also need to know what kind of impacts COVID-19 has had. So Moggy, you're playing Monopoly in real life. You've got centres all over the place. You've got 4 of them, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct, mate. Yeah, look, 3 of them up here in Queensland and 1 in ACT as well. So I am a fan of the game of Monopoly. It's very competitive when it comes to it. There's a few new rules they've put into the game recently with this COVID-19, so it's a bit of a challenge at the moment.
Yeah, mate, if you're lucky enough, I might invite you around as long as I can be the top hat. And Mark Divin, for your centre down there, a little bit different for you because you offer a whole bunch of different services a lot of indoor cricket centres don't usually do. You integrate quite heavily with the outdoor community.
Yeah, absolutely. We run the indoor cricket centre. Part of our arrangement with our local council is that we stick with cricket as our sole focus. So we run training programs for schools and clubs and have a whole range of training facilities. So really, yeah, we just focus on cricket. We might do some birthday parties as something different, but that's about it. So yeah, a little bit unique away from the traditional centre that will run, cricket, netball, and all the other sports as well.
So whereas Moggy's got the inflatable world, he's got jumping castles. You can dress your kids up in Velcro and throw them against the dartboard type thing. And the Cricket Hub Tasmania, it's really for the cricket tragics, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's we like to think anyone that from any age that loves their cricket, social or more serious, can come along and get involved in the Cricket Hub, and we can sort of help them on their journey. So yeah, quite different to Moggy's setup there.
And obviously COVID-19's come along and it's taken the wind out of everybody's sails. Mogg, you've said that in 20 years of kind of owning and operating businesses, that this is the most challenging time you've ever faced. I'll ask you to get the ball rolling. What's been one of the most challenging aspects that COVID-19 has had on the operations at all your indoor cricket centres?
Oh, look, the biggest thing is the uncertainty. Really, it sort of came out of the blue. It was something we weren't really expecting. It's something we could never really plan for. And, just the response to it's been different. There's a lot of government initiatives out there to try and help us out. And it's just really an unprecedented event and something I don't think you could ever plan for. And, maybe something we could plan for in the future, but it's just all of a sudden we were shut. And that's just a massive change to what we do on a regular basis.
And Mark Divin, just through previous conversations with yourself, you also mentioned a very important word, uncertainty. That's been a real challenge, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like Moggy was saying, it just sort of, you could see things were happening around the world and you kind of didn't think it was going to impact you directly. And then, yeah, I guess in the blink of an eye, you've shut the doors and you're telling staff that, they've got less hours or have to be stood down. So it's an area that, I've certainly never had to deal with anything like that before. So you're sort of just thinking on your feet and hoping that you're doing the right thing by people and by the community and all that type of thing. So,
to be honest, that was one of the most challenging things, across all my facilities. I had to stand down 100 staff. A lot of these people have been great for my business and been great supporters of what we do for a long period of time. And I've made a close connection with many of them. And to have to stand them down was just one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in a business sense ever in my life. So it was a big challenge.
And I know that...
I think...
Sorry, Mark. No, go, please.
Well, without knowing when things would resume again, obviously things are now on the improve, but I guess this is a best case scenario. We had no sense of when things were going to get better, so you couldn't talk to your staff with any certainty about what the future looked like, and that was tough.
And I know that, and we'll talk about the challenges. I really want to focus on the future. The bulk of this episode is about the future, what we can do to assist and what tomorrow looks like, or maybe not tomorrow, but at least in a few weeks and months and even years' time. But it's really important that all our listeners gain an understanding about current circumstances and the journey that you've been through, because I think that the support will rally behind centres stronger when they have a deeper appreciation that you guys have really been in the trenches and fighting a pretty tough war here at the moment. So you guys sharing your journey, although it still might be a bit raw, for the wider indoor cricketing community, it's really important. What I found was quite interesting, Mark, was that you actually got a bit of a silver lining to it, and it's given you a chance to reflect and plan and prepare for the centre's future success.
Yeah, I guess it's a strange outcome. Certainly more a negative outlook from the beginning, but then as we sort of started to deal with things and staff got back on, we found that our team was able to really plan and review some things that. How do we do things better when we do start again? How do we get our centre up to speed? So we have been able to use this time to, I guess, hopefully come back stronger. And we are really grateful for the support that we have had from the government through JobKeeper and through other grants that have been available that will see us through. So then it actually has, in some respects, there's been some positives in terms of preparation time to come back stronger.
Now, Moggy, there's 5 stages of COVID that you've been quoted as having. I don't know if have you created this, mate, or is this something that you've
I have.
online? You have?
Yeah, I think this is the ISO boredom coming through, but because it's such an unprecedented event and it's something we've never had to deal with before, I think what was important for me to get through this process was to break it down into stages and to understand what we're going through at each phase of that stage. And I guess right about now we're really midway through that stage, and the first stage, as we've talked about, I call the WTF stage, and look, that's pretty self-explanatory for the viewers at home.
Podcast, mate. WTF PG podcast. Don't explain it. Don't explain what it is.
No further explanation of the terminology used, but really that was about, and Mark would agree with this, like as it was unfolding, we were just sitting there going, what's happening? What's going on? What's happening around the world? What's happening here in Australia? What sort of impact does that have on us? And it was just a game-changing moment. And it just, for me, it tended to change on a daily basis almost, and understanding what implications that had for our businesses and for our industry. And it was a really challenging time at that point in time. And a lot of that's on that uncertainty. And that's something that Mark and I have both touched on so far already. So,
and then the next stage is hibernation.
Yeah, look, I think this is a fairly important stage in the process, because many of these sports centres, without the proper hibernation process, might be lost to our industry. And that's the last thing we want to see. Like, as much as I have my own businesses, I'm all about the industry and want to see the industry survive and be strong. And if we couldn't successfully hibernate the businesses, it really puts a lot of pressure on whether they can return in the future. And when I talk about hibernation, and Mark's touched on already, there's government incentives like JobKeeper programs to maintain the stuff.
Hey,
There's
there's
the
a
little one.
5-year-old. There's a little 5-year-old that didn't know
There
what
he
we're
is.
talking about.
Unfortunately, we can't see you guys, but this is Harry. He's very keen to hear what we're talking about.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And that's what indoor sports and indoor cricket's all about, is a family initiative. And Div did say that. There's Harry. G'day, Harry.
Hey, Harry.
How you going, champion?
They're saying hello to you.
Giving Dad a cuddle. That's beautiful stuff.
Can you see them both?
Unfortunately, I can't.
No, can't see.
Yeah.
And when you were saying that, Moggy, as well,
Are they there?
Div was actually nodding in agreement about that hibernation type period, that it's important that you can get through these times, whilst hibernating, I suppose. While nothing's going on, you can still kind of get through it. And Div, I was looking at you, you were nodding along in agreement that, that's something that you felt as well.
Yeah, like the range of emotions are quite extreme. From, I guess, when it first happened, and the sense that you were closing down was like, will we actually come back from this? And then obviously, as government announcements came through, then it was clear that you could hibernate and lock away for a while, knowing that your business will be okay. So yeah, that period, it just gave you a few weeks there where you could sort of just take a breath and then plan how you then, as Moggy's next step alludes to, you can regenerate and come back again.
Yeah, I think another key component with that hibernation stage was going through that process of talking to creditors and suppliers and all those sort of things.
Yeah.
Because, they're businesses as well, and they're going through the same hardship we are. And, that's a tough conversation to say, look, mate, I owe you $1,000 for our soft drink. I can't pay you because I have no money coming in. I want to pay you, but I can't. So dealing with the suppliers was a very important aspect of that. I think the key aspect was, and I think this is a great initiative by the government, is the dealing with the landlord situation, because from my perspective, that lease aspect of the business is one of the highest costs that we have, that along with staffing and all those sort of things. But, like getting the landlords to come to terms that they were happy with and workable with was a very important process. As you can imagine, across all of my facilities, I'm personally liable for a massive amount of rent. And if I didn't get that support from them, it really makes it difficult to get through or move forward from the stages. And, and to recap, the JobKeeper thing, to be able to look after those key staff that are such important people for our business, to be able to negotiate with the landlords and get ourselves into a position. And, I have multiple businesses and multiple leases, so I have multiple landlords. And, every single deal I got is a little bit different and unique in a way, but they're all workable. Some are more workable than others, but that was a challenge. And to be able to talk to the suppliers and to come to terms with them was very important. And, I think we're all pretty much past, or just sort of passing that hibernation stage now. And in saying that, there are many indoor sports centres, and not just indoor sports centres in our industry, but businesses in general, that may not get through that stage. And, that's just one of the realities of what we're facing at the moment.
And that's where the support comes back into things. So we've got the next stage of preparation, and then the next one, which is really important, is back in action. And that's where I want to focus on for a little while as well. I want to know what we can do as a community to help the centres get back, because the fact of the matter is we don't actually know. So I've just got some points here, and I want us to spend maybe 30 seconds to a minute on each one. I'll just go through some points how we can assist supporting the centres. So all the players pre-COVID-19 come back to the indoor cricket centres as soon as possible. Moggy, give me your 30-second elevator pitch on that to why people should be coming back.
Tough gig. Look, I'm a player too. As much as I'm a business owner, I'm a player too. And it's something I have missed wholeheartedly. It's not just about the cricket. It's about the social interaction. It's about having a chat with my mates, having a laugh about the game we've just played, and going upstairs to the bar and having a beer as well. And for me, the social interaction that our sport offers is such an important part of it. The fitness and running around and being active is another important part too. It looks like I've eaten a few meat pies in the last couple of months, and just getting to run around and have a bit of fun is very important as well. And again, I really emphasise that social interaction side of things.
And Div, obviously, it's important for the for the existing players to come back, but maybe some cricketers who haven't played for a little while, roll the arm over or pick up a cricket bat. Important for them to come back too. That would support you guys in getting things rolling again.
Absolutely. I think from our point of view, we'd love to see some outdoor cricketers, perhaps who might have missed a lot of their footy season, maybe aren't going to play footy, maybe come back and have a go at indoor cricket. Perhaps those that get asked to fill in, maybe fill in and have a game and see how you go, because it certainly is a great opportunity to catch up with some people again and have a beer and all those things that Moggy mentioned. So, yeah, let's get them back involved in indoor cricket.
And also the existing indoor cricketers being an advocate for cricket. And what I love about the hub down there that you've got in Tassie is, outdoor cricketers, indoor cricketers, if you enjoy cricket, then you can get your keister in there, meester, and be a part of it as well. So people should really be advocates as well for that. So is that also something that would assist? I love indoor cricket. I love cricket. I should be out in the community saying, guys, come down here and get into the hub with me and hang out with Div and the team and play some indoor. Is that an important aspect too, just getting the word out there?
Just getting involved. From my point of view, you're a cricketer. You're not distinguished from being an indoor player or an outdoor player. You're someone that enjoys their cricket, and that's the main feature. And look, from our sense of point of view, if you can't make a game of indoor cricket, you might hire a bowling machine, or you might come and buy some gear early from our cricket shop rather than wait till September or October. Or just any traffic in our businesses will help us sort of kickstart, our revenue again, which will, keep us there for the long term and keep our staff employed.
Very good point. Stephen Mogg, he obviously looks after the operations at Play Straight Cricket. Supporting the centres by purchasing a new set of gloves or a bat. Mark Divin, you've got a massive, huge area full of all kinds of sporting paraphernalia. Moggy, your centres are full to the brim, full of kit. I'll open the floor to both of you, maybe Mogg, then Div. Buy a box, grab a set of gloves.
Yeah, look, it's important. I mean, that's not part of our core business. We deliver sports and we deliver competitions, and that's what we do. And that's an important part, and we want people to be involved. But, if you want to go that extra little bit further and help support us and ensure that business is going to be there in the long term, it's important that, if you're thinking about buying a new bat, well, you know what? Buy one from a sports center. Now's a really good time because we're so heavily invested in this industry and we want everyone to succeed. And, if it means you're going to buy a new set of gloves or a new protector, that's one of those little things you can do to help us as a business to maintain ourselves. Because as I touched on previously, that, as much as many businesses have got through that hibernation stage, there's many that may not. And even if we do, a lot of the businesses are gaining increased debt through this process. We still need to have power, we still need to have phones and security and all those sort of things. The storm's not over yet. We're really going to face some challenges over the next 12, 18, 24 months to be able to push through this. So anything that a player can do to help support that would be really fantastic. And I know I appreciate it at my end, and I'm sure that was exactly the same at every centre around Australia as well.
And Mark Divin's operation down there in Tassie, it's an absolute paradise. You walk in there, you're delirious. There's stuff all over the place. It's a wonderful facility. So, instead of going to one of those big major conglomerates, I won't name them because the podcast is absolutely frothing for support for 2021. So I'm not going to rule out anyone. I'm not going to begrudge any big major corporation just in case they want to, be involved in the podcast, like, subscribe, 5 stars. However, instead of going to one of those guys, head down to your local sports centre and grab a cricket bat. Div, is that a fair comment?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the decision to come and buy from a small business, the sale of a bat, every bat we sell, it means a hell of a lot, and it secures our business for another period of time. And I guess you can jump online and get something from overseas, but that money just drifts away and probably doesn't mean a hell of a lot to the person at the other end. But you do it locally, you certainly are keeping someone in a job. And I think Moggy's point about the storm is not over. Like, we might get back to business, but we expect that in the next 6 to 12 months, the economic situation is not going to be great. So, you know, each of those sales that comes through straight away just offers us that bit of security. We're faced with ordering our retail, which is not indoor cricket, but our retail gear. You have to order that now, but who can forecast who's going to be shopping in 6 to 8 months' time? We just have to sort of crystal ball it, and it's really hard to tell. So the more people we see in the centre gives us the confidence to keep buying more gear and having a full shop of gear for people to buy from.
Yeah. And the important thing is, and you're quite right, both of you, this is going to be an ongoing process. Coming in and looking after things for a week or two and thinking, oh, we're back, it's okay, we can go back down to the pub, we can go back and have our coffees and all that kind of stuff. That's all well and good, but this is going to take a long, long, long time. So that support needs to be continuous and ongoing. And I could see you both here on the screen and you were both nodding your head like those wobbly dolls that you put on your dashboard, little jiggly little hula skirt on you, you'd be wonderful. And so it needs to continue. And I'm sure you're both in agreement with that. We've got a couple more minutes to go because for the first time ever, we're not recording from a radio studio. We're doing it from Zoom. And we're on a time restraint, so we've got about 2.5 minutes remaining. And I really, really want to talk to Mark Divin about Tasmania. When will you be coming back into the national championships?
Oh, that's the $1 million question. Look, I mentioned to you that we had 2 junior teams ready to go for June, July this year to come over to Melbourne. Obviously, with the COVID-19, that got cancelled. So we see that as the stepping stones, Gary. It's a better for us, who at the moment we're the ones probably driving that to happen. It's a better investment of time for us. We'd love to see the seniors back, but we need, I guess we need broader support to make that happen. We can't drive that as one individual centre, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I know, Moggy, we're absolutely frothing for Tassie to get back in. I've been trying to trade a shirt to get a Tassie jersey for years, mate. And the problem is I'm extra small and no one ever, even if there was anyone, I wouldn't be able to find anybody. But
you wouldn't get one of Masters, mate. You wouldn't get one of Masters.
Other than wanting to trade a jersey, mate, how much do we miss Tassie? Fair income.
Oh, they're a massive part. Like, it's the Australian National Championships. And, every year Cricket Australia sends a email out to us for a survey to ask where we'd like to play. Like Darwin's always been a place I wanted to play in as a Masters.
Darwin's a cracker.
Yeah, yes, I would have been there as this interview shows, and Tasmania is definitely on the list too. They're a part of Australia, and I'd really love that experience to go down there and play and be a part of that cricket. So best of luck to you, Mark. I hope you really push through with it, and I think many cricketers out there would love to come down and have a game of cricket down there in Tasmania.
Yeah, thanks, Bobby. There's certainly a community here that really wants to drive it. It's a little bit of a road at the moment to get there, but these conversations, and for more people in our local centres to hear that passion that I guess what we call the mainlanders, to hear that passion. For Tassie to be back involved, that all helps, and certainly inspires me to help keep driving it, because I think it's a great game, and we'd love to be a bigger part of the national scene.
Well, fellas, thanks very much for coming along to episode 1 of season 2 of the Yellow Ball podcast. Next time we talk, and you don't know it and you haven't committed to it yet, but you're coming back on the podcast. So apologies for that. I'm dragging you back in kicking or screaming. You will be returning. I know we haven't talked about it yet. What I'd like to do is touch base with you at the end of the year, one of our very last episodes, to see how everything has been traveling. And by that stage, we'll be back in the radio station and we can talk for hours, and it won't matter back then. We won't have to worry about Zoom. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've really taken some good insight from these two, Mark Divin and Stephen Mogg. And fellas, I'll see you at the end of this year. All the very best, and we look forward to supporting your indoor cricket centres.
Cheers, Lowe. Thanks, Mark. Nice to meet you, mate. Best of luck, Lowe. This is a great thing.
No worries, gentlemen.
Thanks, Gary. All the best to you. All the best to you, Moggy.
No worries. Thanks very much, gents, and talk to you soon.